I gave up a lot of stuff, but you know, my main objective was to make the fight happen by any means. Even though my people wanted to, after a while, they wanted to walk away from the fight, 'cause, out of just all that outrageous demands, and then when you meet his demands, then he moves the goalposts. Yeah, nah, he's nice as hell, but I'm at the point of my career. The money right, I'll fight anybody, so I ain't tripping.
Errol Spence has publicly criticized Terence Crawford, accusing him of avoiding their much-anticipated rematch in favor of a more lucrative fight against Canelo Alvarez. Spence posted a pointed message on X, formerly Twitter, claiming that Crawford backed out of their rematch agreement to pursue a super fight with Canelo. The announcement sent shockwaves through the boxing community. While fans were eagerly waiting for Avcentsev, the news of potential Crawford versus Svisukli stole the spotlight. Many believe this new matchup could revitalize boxing, which has recently faced criticism for lacking blockbuster events. For fans hoping to see Spence versus Errol Spence. In why Crawford bailed out of the rematch and shared a clip from a previous press conference where Crawford had mocked Spence and vowed to dominate him in the ring. You talk all that talk but disappear when it matters most, Spence wrote, clearly calling Crawford out for what he sees as an intentional dodge.
He said the Jose Benavidez fight was probably the toughest fight of his career, and I think you said back in the day you had your way with him in sparring. Is there anything to take away from that, or that you take away from it?
Nah, not at all. I mean, it was a good fight. He fought a one-legged Jose Benavidez, and it was the toughest fight of his career. That says a lot.
What does it say?
Interestingly, even after last year's rematch was called off, talks reportedly resumed months later. Crawford even said in interviews that he was open to a second fight with Spence. For a while, a rematch looked more likely than a fight with Canelo. However, Crawford ultimately changed direction and decided to chase the Canelo opportunity instead. This shift seems to have triggered Spence's recent outbursts on social media. Still, many boxing fans argue that the first fight wasn't competitive enough to justify a rematch. In their view, Spence's frustration stems more from losing out on a huge payday than from any unresolved rivalry in the ring.
Walking over my feet, I want to get out the game. I got kids, got a mom and dad, and they want to enjoy me. So
fans haven't held back their opinions either. Many believe Errol Spence is pursuing a rematch more for financial gain than because he believes he can win. Let's be real, no one in their right mind would want to fight the guy who nearly dismantled them in the ring. One fan commented, "It was a 50-50 fight before, now it's more like 90-10. Some responses were even more brutal, warning Spence to stay away from Crawford unless he prepared for a beating worse than the one he already endured. Or even worse than the car crash he survived years ago. For many, the idea of Spence returning to face Crawford in his very first fight back is not only unrealistic, it's downright dangerous. The backlash from fans only intensified. One commenter mocked Spence, writing, "Bro want another crash, this time from a punch, and another cataract surgery. This isn't the way to go out. Just take a tune-up fight and rebuild. You've still got it, no doubt. But Crawford? That's not the experiment to run right now." Another fan drew a harsh comparison to Tim Tsayu's recent mistake. Errol's not learning from Tsayu. The guy went through a war with Sebastian Fundora, fought with a head injury for 8 rounds, and took his first loss. Instead of recovering, he rushed into another big fight and paid the price. Spence is walking into something even worse. Crawford will annihilate him.
Definitely, it was exciting. The whole build up to it and leading up to it too. So it's something that I wouldn't change for nothing. And I'm definitely open to the rematch, and hopefully it'll be at 154 pounds.
I can retire right now and be in the Hall of Fame. He couldn't. Like everything that I've accomplished, he's still trying to accomplish.
Do you not think Spence will be in the Hall of Fame?
Right now? No, how?
Yeah, he's right, dude. He's right.
How? You know, like he fought in one division. You know,
never unified the belts.
He unified.
Did unify.
Some fans are even starting to question Spence's management. There's growing sentiment that it might be time for him to part ways with Premier Boxing Champions, PBC. One fan wrote, "No wonder all of Spence's fights fall apart during negotiations. Leave PBC, bro. It's not what it used to be. Go link up with someone like Turkey. He'll get you the right fights. And whatever you do, stay away from Crawford. That beast will rip your head off." Another added, Crawford was already calling for this fight when he was lined up to face Madrimov. Maybe he shouldn't have raised Spence's hopes if he wasn't planning to follow through.
He unified.
Was it?
He had 3. Yeah, the
but
WBC,
he didn't unify all 4. He wasn't undisputed.
Huh?
He wasn't undisputed.
He wasn't. No, but what I'm saying is, they already called him a weight bully, right? He beat Kell Brook coming off of a loss, an eye injury. You know, he beat Sean Porter.
In all fairness, he had to go over there to get that.
Although Terence Crawford never explicitly promised a rematch with Spence, he had already made his priorities clear. Crawford emphasized that his main focus was on Israel Madrimov, whom is scheduled to face on August 3rd at the __ Center in Los Angeles. When asked about the possibility of a rematch with Spence, Crawford didn't rule it out but gave no firm commitment. "The possibility is there," he said. "Spence is fighting Sebastian Fundora for his titles, and I'm fighting for a title too. If he wins his fight, God willing, and I win mine, God willing, then there's a possibility."
I mean, it could happen. I mean, why not? If Crawford wanna challenge himself to be great, let him try to be great, you know. So, you know what I'm saying, I'm with it. So, you know, I'll be going for Bud, you know, if he fight Canelo.
Their original contract did include a rematch clause, and Crawford acknowledged there might still be unfinished business with Spence. However, given how decisively Crawford won their first fight, he would enter any rematch as the overwhelming favorite. The main question now is whether Spence would look like a different fighter at 154 pounds. Both fighters appeared drained from cutting weight, but Spence looked especially affected, both at the weigh-in and during the fight itself.
You know what I mean? That's a good win. Like, I don't wanna sound like I'm hating on him or, you know,
I understand
things like that, but I honestly don't know if he make it to the Hall of Fame with the accolades that he didn't got.
After Terence Crawford's dominant stoppage victory over Errol Spence last year under a deal with Premier Boxing Champions, PBC, a contractual rematch was expected. However, as time passed, no official announcement was made. According to reporter Mike Coppinger, Spence underwent cataract surgery just a few months after the fight, an important development that ultimately led to the rematch clause expiring. With the time limit on the clause lapse, Crawford was free to pursue other fights without being tied to a promoter or network. While Crawford had been actively pushing for a blockbuster bout with Canelo Alvarez, reports suggest Canelo wasn't particularly interested, seeing little benefit in taking the fight.
I said I would never want to fight him coming off an accident like that, because when I beat him, then y'all gonna say it was because of the accident. He beat Danny Garcia. I was in the crowd. I said, nah, he can't beat me. That's the first time I seen Spence fight live. I said.
So you knew then when you seen that?
I'm like yeah, because you know it's different on TV than when you watching it up close in person.
Errol Spence Jr., unified welterweight champion, now finds himself in a state of boxing limbo. While he hasn't officially retired, there are no clear signs of a return either. With nearly 2 years of inactivity, fans are beginning to wonder if the truth will ever step into the ring again. Not long ago, Spence was considered one of the sport's pound-for-pound greats, an undefeated powerhouse with broad appeal. But his lopsided loss to Terence Crawford changed everything. Once billed as a 50-50 showdown between two elite champions, the fight turned out to be anything but.